Hello and welcome to the Penno channel. We're back with some more transfer news regarding Aston Villa. And it looks like Villa are about to announce their first signing in the upcoming weeks. Fabrizio Romano has just given a here we go to Ross Barkley, joining Aston Villa for £5 million from Luton Town. We've discussed this on a couple of videos previously. But before we get into it, if you could comment your thoughts on Ross Barkley joining Aston Villa, and also subscribe if you're new around here. Now then, let's get into it. So, yeah, it looks like Ross Barkley will be joining Villa for a fee of £5 million from Luton. The 30-year-old had a great season with Luton. He's played a new role at Luton compared to where he's usually played. He's dropped deeper now. He's receiving the ball off the defence and the goalkeeper. He's operating. He's trying to dictate play. And he had some great games this season with Luton. Ended up winning Luton's Player of the Season award. In every game that I watched him on TV, he had an outstanding game, and he was their man of the match against some big sides, notably Arsenal and Liverpool. Also, he managed to bag himself a few goals within that, even though he was playing in a deeper role. And yeah, he was just dictating play for Luton, and Luton, came close to surviving out of the three relegated sides. They put up the best performance, and Ross Barkley was integral in that. So after having that loan spell in COVID at Villa in the COVID season, he ended up going to Nice, didn't really quite work out there, and Luton managed to pick him up on a free last season. And yeah, he's shown that he's still got the quality, and I respect Ross Barkley for that, because he did drop down a few levels from where you envisaged Ross Barkley to be at. Obviously, England international, he's made over 30 odd appearances for England. Was at Chelsea at the time, who were playing in the Champions League, so he's a player who's had many games within the Champions League as well, and at the top ends of the Premier League. And for him to look at himself, go, I'm going to go to Luton and prove myself and show what I'm about and show that I've still got it. It's a credit to him. And it's ended up getting him a move to another Champions League side in Aston Villa. So great for him. Regarding Villa, I think it's a great signing. He's shown his capabilities this season. It's funny enough, when he was here in the COVID season, we didn't actually get to see him play as fans. Obviously, it was lockdown, so there's no fans within the ground. So I don't think any Villa fans have seen Ross Barkley play live. I can't remember. I know there was fans in the stadium for the Spurs away game, but I think it was just Spurs fans. And I know Villa played Chelsea at home, because I remember Grealish returned for that. That was his first home game back after his injury, and I'm not sure if Ross Barkley was playing in that game. So potentially no one's seen Ross Barkley play live as a Villa player. Obviously, last season, we saw him play for Luton at Villa Park, and he had a really good game, even though Villa ended up winning the game. He was dictating play. I remember him playing a number of long through balls to Ogbenny and other players that Luton had on the wing, trying to get him through in on goal against Villa. Even at Luton away, he had a great game at Kenilworth Road as well, and was their best player within that against Villa. So yeah, I'm all for this signing. And it's the sort of business I expect Villa to make this summer. Obviously, there are concerns regarding PSR. Nobody actually really knows how concerning it is at all. But potentially, we might have to offload some players, maybe one key player within that. And picking up a player like Ross Barkley for a cheap fee. He was on around 30 to 40 grand a week at Luton, so it'd be interesting to see what his wages are for Villa when that all happens and it's processed. Obviously, the medical will also need to be taking place, and just a few signatures to close out the deal over the coming weeks. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what his salary will be at Villa. It's just redemption for Ross Barkley, and a chance to prove himself again at Villa. We all remember he had those 5 games at the start where he was on fire. Games against Liverpool, Leicester. Villa won the first few games in the season for the first time ever, especially in Premier League history anyway. And he got the injury, and it just didn't kick on from there. When he came back, he had a few moments. I always remember that goal against Southampton, the header. But apart from that, he didn't really kick on. And it just didn't work out, and he ended up returning to Chelsea. But yeah, redemption time, another chance for Ross Barkley to operate at Villa Park and show us what he's all about. And obviously increases the depth in midfield for Villa now. It's another midfielder within there. Morgan Sandson's left now, even though he didn't play part last season. He was still part of the overall squad. He was at Nice. He's been sold now for €4 million. Leandro Dendoncker went on loan to Napoli. I can see Villa looking to offload him if it's possible. Also, Timmy Boonen hasn't been getting the minutes. You'd think for someone that Emery said it was his opportunity to prove himself after Boubacar Kamara got injured. And also, Boubacar Kamara is injured currently and won't be returning now till earliest November. So Ross Barkley coming in only strengthens the midfield, and it's more quality to add to the midfield, plus experience as well. His experience at playing that level, and he's operating in a new position. He's not playing in the attacking role, which he was when Villa first signed him on loan. He was playing further forward. He was operating with Grealish and El Ghazi and Bertrand Traore further forward and playing off Ollie Watkins. But now I wouldn't be surprised to see him if he drops more deeper and he operates in a position where he receives the ball deeper off our centre backs and off Emi Martinez as well. Yes, it's going to be interesting to see where he can play. Obviously, he can play a multitude of positions as well. He can play in centre mid. He could play off that left where Morgan Rogers and Jacob Ramsey operate. He can play as the part of the two with Ollie Watkins, where Missy Diaby usually plays, or sometimes Liam Bailey. So yeah, he can play in a number of positions as well, which is something you need in your squad, the flexibility. And I think that's how Villa is starting to create their squad now. They want players who can play multiple positions and to a decent standard as well. Yeah, looking forward to this one. I was happy with it, happy with the deal. The fees relatively cheap in the market, in the current market that we're in and climate. 30 years old, so he's got a number of years still to prove himself, and he stated that he required that time to mature as a player and kind of find himself, and he has done that this season at Luton. I'm sure a number of Villa fans will be happy with the deal as well. I've seen comments and thoughts from other fans and opposition fans saying, why weren't we in for him? Why haven't we made a play for him? He's a player we should be looking at. So it's all positive. It's all positive on that part. And Ross Barkley will no doubt be looking to prove himself. Having made the move to Luton and excelling, that was him trying to prove himself he's capable of playing in the Premier League. Now he wants to prove himself that he's capable of playing at a top club within the league and go again, because he didn't get the opportunities at Chelsea. He was kind of shunned out at points within Chelsea. And there's a number of Chelsea fans who thought he did deserve more playing time within that period, and he just didn't really get it. We all remember Ross Barkley at Everton. He was a wonder kid, and people thought he would go on to do much more than he has done within his career and be, still in the England side and one of the best England players within that. So, yeah, it's him. It's a time for him to redeem himself, get back into a top club who are applying their trade at the top of the league, and push on. And no doubt, I'm sure he'll prove himself, and hopefully he's fully fit. He's ready, because obviously the last time he was carrying knocks and injuries within that period. And he's ready to go. But yeah, let me know your thoughts, please. I would want to know what your thoughts are within the comments. Let me know what you think of the Barkley deal. Obviously, Fabrizio's given the here we go. There's just a few ends to tie regarding signatures. Obviously, him having his medical as well. But £5 million fee for Ross Barkley. First signing for Aston Villa. Let me know your thoughts, people, in the comments. Are you happy? Are you not so happy? Reasons why that is, if that is the case. And also, if you could like the video as well, share around, and if you're new around here, please subscribe. I'll be giving almost daily or every other day Villa content and my thoughts regarding transfers and transfer news, not just incomings but outgoings as well. So yeah, it's going to be a busy period for Villa. Obviously, there's the murmurs that potentially Villa might have to sell before the 30th of June in regards to PSR, and obviously the other regulations regarding UEFA and the UEFA revenue relegations for the squad. So we'll see if Villa will be able to do that, but it's going to be a very busy period for Monchi. Monchi's first full summer now. He signed last summer, but he wasn't there for half of it. So it's time for Monchi to sit down now, assess the squad, and see what deals he can do, because he was renowned as being one of the best sporting directors about. And him and Emery have worked together before, so it's going to be intriguing. I'm excited to see what Villa are capable of doing this summer. And again, don't be surprised if someone does get sold. That could potentially happen if we are close to the line, and if that is the case, it will give the Villa team and the ability to be more flexible within the window. And we have to have trust in them in doing so, because they've brought in players already like Morgan Rogers, who has already tripled his value in terms of his appearances and how he's played for Villa. Coming in January, only played no more than 6-7 games, and you saw the performances he was putting in. What a signing. So yeah, going to be interesting summer. Ross Barkley, first signing. Again, up the Villa, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Cheers.